There it is. Can you hear that?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
we heard it. We heard it.
Okay.
We're all witnesses for that.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it's talking to us.
Um,
Yeah, no excuses now, Therese. We know already. There you go.
It's also going to talk to us at the end. When I end the class, it's going to say it's over. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. Well, maybe.
Oh, it's not only that. I got a message that said this meeting is being recorded. Do I want to continue or not?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you make the choice. I'm recording it. All right. I'm going to mute everybody. If you have anything you want to share, just go ahead and hit that chat. And I'm making a concentrated effort to keep checking in, especially for this new person. We'll see if she comes or not. All right. You can mute yourselves. There we go. So welcome. Just I like to bring a theme to the class, and you already started talking about it, which I asked, and I think we're all in this yet another transition period of the world opening up, right? And we're not alone in that. It's like others are feeling this. Some people are having very legitimate social anxiety about opening up again, and gratitude, and a whole swirl of feelings. That's why the emotional body is, complicated. There could not just be one feeling, but a cluster is often the case. And just a word, we're moving from social distancing to social connection, which is our tribal nature, and of course, wonderful things about that. But many people are wondering, well, what's my pace that I want to engage in this? If I can choose my pace. I don't know about so many people on this call, but like parents going back to school and talking to other moms and dads and all that kind of sports stuff. So, it's like, okay, how many people do I want to really engage with? But in your own personal life, this may or may not be coming up for you. What I wrote down the emotions that are, and we'll bring them into more of a movement psychology of what's called express and release. So we'll take certain emotions and we'll release them through our body in a physical way, which the movement of yoga does, with any movement does, maybe back, or maybe now you're a runner, but back in the day, I used to kind of jog it out, but that's just not up for me anymore. So we can do 6 to 8 rounds of express and release movement, and then cultivate the calmness after. So it's in and through. We don't want to just bypass. We know this because we've been coming to class a lot, but I'll specifically give you poses to do that, which is really cool. And I just did it the other day when in between clients, I just had to chop through some stuff, and it really works. So before we begin, one other thing I wanted to say is, before we do our breathing, is, on the one hand, our mind can be going at, I don't know about you guys, but like a 90, if I gave it a number, 90 miles per hour with planning, depending on the day, ruminating, what else? It does a lot of things, controlling. It goes pretty high, and the body can be at like a 50 or a 60. It could be very different, the mind activity to the body speed and pace. So what yoga beautifully does, even for a few moments, if we connect the mind, the body, and the breath, we have a chance of equalizing that pace, that speed, of truly finding more balance. Again, it may not last a long time, but it's better than, and it's gonna go like that again too. The mind's just very active. But if we breathe and come back into our body, we'll have more of the integration experience and the wholeness. And that, as we know, feels so good. And then the spiritual awareness that's aware of that presence of being, that I don't even know what pace of vibration that's at, but it's a very, can be very calm and energizing. So that's the goal, is to link yoke, union, body, mind, spirit that's always here, but mostly it's about getting our mind right into a little less charge and rev up and more integrated into the body. And the body's, where else is the body going to be but in the present, right? The mind's going to be all over the place, but the body is present. So we'll wonderfully work with that, consciously work with that. All right, and we'll begin now with, and so we'll be using sound as part of expressive release and vibrational energy, as well as our regular, usual yogic postures and techniques. So last week we worked with diaphragmatic breathing, and I just wanted to review that again. I'll back up a little bit. So it's a classic, coming back to the classics. Placing the right hand on the belly, the left hand on the heart. And all you have to remember here is to let that hand on the belly move a little bit more than the hand on the heart. We want the belly breathing to be bigger. Okay, and we want the exhale to be longer for wanting calming. If you want balance, inhale 5, exhale 5, whatever your pace is. Okay, let's exhale through the mouth first. Soften the shoulders, root down through the feet. When you're ready, let the belly expand. The heart lifts as well, but not as much as the hand on the belly. Exhale through the nose or the mouth. More of a stress release is through the mouth. It's been a stressful week or morning or couple days. Exhale through the mouth. And just find your own rhythm and pace here. Hear the sound of your breath as an orientation to this moment. Body sensations as the belly expands, ribs smile, heart lifts. Exhale at your own frequency. Just welcoming everything that's here. The whole emotional body, the physical body, the spiritual awareness that is accepting of it all, but it's more subtle and quiet. We can tune in. And then we're going to go into bumblebee breath, that sound, like a hum sound. So here the hands, the thumb, the index fingers will be underneath the armpits, more into the upper chest, vibrational quality of the heart. Of course, as you inhale, the belly's still going to expand. The heart's going to open, and then when you're ready, that sound. We'll do 2 more. Try to lengthen it as much as you can. Slow inhale. Bumblebee breath. And one more time. And just let the breath appear how it appears. Feel the calming effect, usually of the bumblebee breath. Remember, at home, you want to look at your clock. 5 minutes, if you do conscious breath work, is research proven to shift the nervous system to either a calm state, if you're needing that, a balanced state, equal breathing, or energy. You're going to inhale longer on the inhale than the exhale. So again, we have the rheostat to equalize, and that's great news for our body and our minds and our spirit. So let's get into full body movement. And come in, if you're not already there, I'm gonna come to the mat. All right. So, as I like to start with cat, but we're gonna do a cat kick, meaning if you have, like we're talked about, one of the difficult emotions is impatience. So we want to physically and psychologically and energetically kick that out. Let's check it. And then bring in patience and acceptance. So any kind of movement we could consciously do this with, but yoga is so great that we can have the knees underneath the hips, the wrists underneath the shoulders, and bring that left knee in a little bit more. We're going to exhale, draw the knee toward the forehead. It's not going to touch. And then extend out and kick out whatever you're feeling that you don't like. If you're going through, frustration, kicking out frustration, and then drawing in patience, willingness. Exhale, and use that sound. Kicking out impatience, drawing in willingness, acceptance, patience. So see how this works. You just add movement, sound with your intention. Drawing in the quality you want, literally kicking out the quality that is a problem. Rounding about 4 times, kicking out impatience, drawing in willingness and acceptance. Maybe we're not at accepting, we're willing to be with whatever's appearing a little bit more. Okay, pressing through that right heel and hamstring and calf. And let's switch before we go to the other side into a full body stretch, the downward facing dog. And just let our hips ease, lifting one heel, then the other. Just floating first, bowing, our head is already bowing to the wisdom of the heart. So we're able to perhaps tune into that calm energy that radiates through every cell of your body, every fiber of my being. And that more vocal exhale sound when we're doing release work. So you identify the emotion, and then you work on releasing it out. And then we come back down. And of course, we're going to do that same thing to the left side. So when you're ready, we're going to draw the left knee in. Notice what you want, a quality you want to bring in. And then as you exhale first, really hearing that sound. Folding in. Symbolically kicking out impatience, frustration, resistance. Drawing in and kicking out. So we're working with emotional opposites, but really more focusing on what we want to kick out. 4 times. Lost track of the counting here. And then turn the left toes under, really stretch into that hamstring. Keep the breath vocal, audible. That's a great way to release through sound and movement and intention as we lift the tailbone up. And again, tread it out. Then focus on lifting one heel as you magnetize the heart back toward the thighs. Press into the base of the fingers. As you're treading out, the frustration, the impatience, the resistance. This can be in stages, of course. And now, let's do Kapalabhati breath, breath of fire in our down dog. Exhale through the nostrils, navel to the spine, press through the tips of the fingers 10 times. Slow it down. Shake the head, circle it a little bit. That feels good. Step one foot forward, then the other. Walk one hand, then the other. Into Uttanasana, forward fold. Let yourself softly bend the knees. Rest the palms at the hollows of the elbows. Shake your head if you like. Show me yes and no. Rooting into the earth, grounding, supported by the earth. And you may want to massage the scalp and literally scrub the brain, really consciously letting that, whatever that emotion is for you that's got you, let it soften. Feel impatience, frustration, resistance, loosening its grip, loosening its hold on you. Nothing on earth could hold me. We don't want these emotions to hold us. You want to move in and through, okay? Some are harder than others, okay? And then we bend the knees into a chair pose, reach back, and inhale, come up. Now, of course, we've done chair pose a lot, but now what we're doing is we're chopping. We're chopping. This is what I did yesterday between clients. I just chop that emotion. This is kind of some kind of weird insecurity thing. So chop impatience out or whatever you're going through, resistance. Ha, chop it, inhale, come back. Chop it, ha, whatever that quality is, that's funky, chop it, ha. And let's do 2 more of these, ha. Inhale, and chop it out, symbolically. Inhale, we rise up. So that didn't take long, the chopping. Not saying it's gone, but we're intentionally releasing it. Feel the space all around you. Again, right hand on the belly, left hand on the heart, diaphragmatic breathing, rooting, grounding. Let your breath just flow. Breathing in, breathing out at your own pace. So express and release with intention, with force, with more vigor. And you want to start with that release work first before we plant the seed of, now we tune in more tenderly, more compassionately. What does my body need? What's that frustration, that impatience, what does it need? We inquire, we dialogue. What am I resisting? So a little more sensitivity here, a little more tuning in, self-talk, compassion. Maybe, I can't answer that for you, that's your own process, maybe I need to bring some compassion and courage perhaps into whatever I'm going through. Perhaps fears about, moving out into the world again, okay, or the situation here with the fires, all right? So maybe I need to bring compassion. If it's fear, insecurity, whatever it is, you tune in and you see what you need. You take the prescription and then you do a pose with it, okay? So that just weaves in perfectly to our half moon, right? Inhale, I hope this is making sense. Inhale, reaching the arms up. You're gonna lengthen and grow. And let's extend the index finger, wrap the other fingers and thumb around as we arc over to the side, tailbone down. Several breaths here. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Strength and courage fill my body cells. So before we take the prescription, we acknowledge the difficulty. And that didn't take long. I'm not saying it's out. I'm just saying we're moving in that direction. Inhale, come up. Have the W arms, heart open. So anytime we do heart openings, it's squeezing the gunk out from the back of the heart and then filling the movement. Any heart opener will do this as our index finger extends. We're going to arc it over to the other side. Tailbone down. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. Wonderful side stretch. Inhale, coming up when you're ready. If you're ready to, you can stay longer, of course. And the W. And let the arms come down and then just swirl the energy around. Swirl the energy around. Circular movement. Sometimes we don't have time for a full yoga practice, but we can do the chopping and we can just like make sure after you do the express and release, you come back and it's like to tune in and go, well, what can I bring in? Some people don't, you know, not this group, or she wouldn't be with me this long, have an aversion to affirmations because they feel it's just sprinkling, you know, stuff on a problem. And what we want to do is, of course, we want to address the problem. We don't want to deny the problem. We're human beings with challenges, but we talk about it, notice it, but then also give us a prescription to water an affirmation. Affirmations need to be watered and fed. They may not just like come right on, but we're moving in that direction. Okay, so let's take a wide stance. And another great release pose is to, it's called, okay, so grief and loss, there's a lot of emotions in that. Sadness, anger, exhaustion, okay? It's tiring. So say you want to break some kind of hold, again, around complications, around certain emotional systems. So let's take exhaustion with grief and loss, or just exhaustion of having to go through another fire season again, that kind of thing. We're gonna bring our arms up in like a blocking move. We're gonna bend our knees, and then we're gonna make that sound again, ha, with our elbows coming back, and then inhale, come back to center. So we're releasing exhaustion here, or tiredness, or frustration, impatience. Ha! Bring the other hand on top, and then make it loud. Ha! And then back to the center, 4 or 5 times. Ha! With the other hand on top, and then ha! Okay, kicking it out, bringing it out. Ha! You can do this seated, if chair yoga. And then we come back up, feel the space all around. And then we turn those left toes in and the right toes out. So again, whatever the emotion is, strongly release it. And now we can flow. We can open more. The idea is we have more space. We name it to tame it, right? Name it to tame it. Trikonasana. Reaching over, I'm going to sweep that right arm up just to get more space here in the side body so that when I reach over, you can certainly use a block. Have the hand, in fact, I am by the shin or the instep, and sweep that left arm up, stacking the shoulders. I'm adding mudra, thumb and index finger together. And then I'm inviting energy and joy to fill my body cells. So that exhaustion, okay, it doesn't like, okay, we're just switching like this, but we're invoking, we're affirming, we're planting that seed to shift into energy and joy, fill my body cells. So as we breathe in, may seem kind of abrupt, But you use your wisdom, your intelligence of how long you want to stay with express and release work. And when that transition is for you to move to the opposite of exhaustion, is energy and joy. Fill my body cells. We're invoking that. We're inviting that. We're watering that seed. We're planting it. It may not just be here right away, or it may. We'll just see with our intention here. Okay. Wow. Now to come out of this left arm comes out to the side. We bend the right knee and we sweep up, tracking this knee over the second toe. Sweeping up. Watch so that knee doesn't pop forward. Oh, maybe the hand behind the head, eye gaze up. And then coming forward. It's a pretty wide stance. Take your block to the center, heel toe it in again. Getting the idea of this? So before we go to the other side, again, there's layers, okay? It could be one emotion or it can be this complex pizza pie of emotion. So let's take another one, resistance, okay? What we resist, persist. So we're gonna bring the other hand on top, almost karate chop it out. We identify it, we sound it, we breathe into whatever the quality we want to release, physically release, and then we come up, and we go to the other side, Trikonasana. Okay, let's open up to the flow. This is what we want, the flow of energy, emotions to move through us, and then come back to our spiritual awareness that's already whole and already free. Reaching over, letting the hand slide down, using the block if you like, as we stack those shoulders, head to tail connected, thumb, index finger, union, individual self with our greater self, our higher self, our spiritual self. Energy and joy. Fill my body cells. If you want, Utita. Energy and joy. Fill my body cells. We're invoking the quality that we do want. We're inviting it in. And energy and joy is a wonderful place to be. And it's a process. So we're intentionalizing it. We're going to bend, or as this arm sweeps down, we're going to bend that left knee, track it over the second toe, and then sweep that arm up. Maybe reach the hand behind you toward the hip, so behind the head or behind, or both, or whatever works for you. Keep rooting down, tailbone down, strengthening. I resolve to be present with whatever's arising, and then having techniques to skillfully move through difficult emotions, okay? As we windmill the arms now, we're going back to our front and down dog, and tread it out. Hear that sound. You can use that ha sound, that ah sound for more release. Okay, we're all good here. As we invite the calm energy to radiate through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. All right, from here, we're going to come into a plank pose. And we're going to do a half push-up. Go back up, bend the knees, and ripple through. Back to down dog. Press through the right hand, the left foot, bend the right knee. opposites, and then switch. Left hand, right foot. Loosen that resistance. And both feet, both hands. And we come into our plank pose, either classic chaturanga or knee chest chin chaturanga. Coming all the way down, and angle out. And let's take a luxurious rest here. So stacking one hand on top of the other. Large toes can turn in or out. See what feels best to you. Soften the shoulders and breathe. You really can feel the belly breathing and contact to the earth. We have these moments of inquiry. Is impatience here to teach me something? Let's inquire. There's anger here. A lot of times there could be fear under that anger. Again, there could be layers of this emotional soup as humans, but it's here. Some of these emotions, if they stay here a while, they are here for some type of reason. Am I supposed to change something maybe? What is it? Is there some kind of shift I need to make? Breathing in, breathing out. Yes, acceptance is a beautiful thing. When we get there, it's usually a process for many of us, okay? And we're gonna rise up, we're gonna do those W arms on our belly now. So the arms come out like a wide cobra. Press your pubic bone into the ground. That'll energize the legs, okay? And then inhale, lift the upper body. This is really great strengthening. And then exhale, come down. Just tap down. Soften for a moment. We'll do one more of these, prepping. Inhale. And energize the legs. Squeeze and soak the stuckness at the back of the heart. And then exhale, soften. We'll prepare for Cobra, Bhujangasana. Rising up to meet whatever is my body, my emotional body is telling me today, and the opportunities that are going to happen today. So the hands are underneath the shoulders. Again, the pubic bone presses down. That'll energize the legs. You can do a half cobra, wrists going back, elbows back, or on the knees or off the knees, cobra. Stick out the tongue, eye gaze up. Do one more of those. Okay, and then the knees touch down. And we're actually gonna ripple back down. So we're gonna bend the elbows, we're gonna ripple back down. And we're gonna get underneath the scapula. It's been a little bit of a while before we did the shoulder opening. So I like a blanket for this for my head, wrapping it. The left arm's gonna come out to the side. You can use a block, you can use a blanket. You're gonna turn your head to the right. You're gonna bend your right elbow. Okay, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna press through that right arm to come on to the side of the left hip, and then the right knee bends, and see if it can reach back behind that left thigh. And we're getting underneath dental floss for that left scapula and the hip, the right hip. So I like to pulse, pulsing with the knee, and then coming forward. Sound again. The theme today is sound as release. Oh, is there anything stuck, you know? Breathe can feel stuck. You can feel stuck. Oh, and we're literally opening up the body, opening to sensation. Body and mind together. At moments, they can perhaps be in the same speed, not so divergent. And we're pulsing and pausing. Pausing is really important. Okay. Probably good as we come back down. Whew. We come back down. We take that pause again before we go to the other side, either stacking your hands or turning your head to the side and breathing. Oceanic sound. If my higher guidance could speak to me right now about this difficult emotion, what would it say? Go with the first thing. Don't overdo it. Don't overthink it. If guidance comes, what will my higher guidance say? So sometimes we do that at the end in Shavasana, or you can do it during your practice. Inquiry. It's like doing a type of therapy with yourself. Okay. The right arm comes out to the side. Okay. The head turns to the left. Our left elbow bends. And we know where we're going here. We're getting underneath that right scapula. We come onto the right outer hip. Then the left knee. Use sound. Now, I forgot, you could stay here if it's too much to bend that knee. But if you can't pulse back and forth. As you're opening the scapula, the hip. A couple more pulses. When you feel ready, come back. Notice the difference on each side. Again, pause, breathe. By sensing sensation in the body. We talked about that a lot. Will bring us into this moment. The body is in the present moment. The mind is going places. But it can come back. The body and the breath. And the spiritual awareness that's aware of it all. Okay, we're going to do another cobra. So bring the hands underneath the shoulder, elbows in, feet are going down, heart lifts. So right here, we're already gaining strength. It's a back bend. We're rising up to meet today's opportunities. Lion's breath. Ask for more acceptance of whatever is appearing. And then the knees touch down if they're not already. And we go back to our rounded cat. Exhale. And let's do 2 kick-outs, okay? So bringing that left knee into the center line a little bit more. Draw the right knee toward the forehead. Maybe it's shifted. Oh, what am I breathing in? What am I kicking out? Notice what that is. What am I breathing in? What am I cultivating? What am I releasing? And then we switch. Right knee down. Fold it in. Releasing out. Make that sound. Perhaps drawing in. Maybe we're at a better place of acceptance now. And we're still lingering fears and doubts or whatever it is as we rise up through the sacrum and back to our grounded downward facing dog. Keep pressing into the base of the fingers. If you want, let's ripple like a wave. Remember, you are that wave connected to the ocean. So embodying that as we feel that fluidity, flow of grace moving in our lives. Okay, inner borders of the feet together, we keep flowing. If possible, right leg lifts up. It may not be possible. Can we accept that? Left heel root down. Bend the right knee toward the chest in giant step. The right foot between the hands. Spin that back foot 30 degrees. I'm going to angle here. And we're going to rise up into our Virabhadrasana 1. Into our Warrior 1. Inhale. If it helps to have a wide stance, walk that right foot out, right hip back, left hip forward, tailbone down. I'm going to root down more. So we did that blocking in our goddess pose, okay? Now, I love this affirmation. I attune my will to the source of all power. But let's take, again, one tricky or icky, sticky emotion as we inhale, just to show you could use it with any pose, really. The creativity is endless. You just feel like a funky mood comes over. You just want to release that ick. You just, ha, okay? Do that a couple of times, like breathing in, ha, and one more time, ha. So you do about 3 times on one side of the impatience, the resistance, intolerance, whatever it is. And then on the other side, as we come forward, we can kind of go higher up the chakra ladder as we step back. Spread it out. And lift that left foot if it does. It may or may not. Bend that left knee. And sweep it forward. So this is a way, as we rise up, you could do one side of the sticky emotion, the release and express it. Track that knee over the second toe, left hip back, right hip forward. And then we can go into planting that seed of the affirmation as we inhale, reaching up. As we exhale, I attune my will to the source of all power. Opening up to the greatest healing, the spiritual energy. I attune my will to the source of all power. So, it feels so good as we bring our forearms forward. So one side could be getting the conch out, and the other side's the higher expression. I attune my will to the source of all power. Now we're going to come forward, rotate off the back heel, and let's come on top of that knee and just take rest. We're getting it, right? We're getting how to creatively work with in and through. And I classically go with the affirmations, but we're making this like well, it is yoga psychology therapy, that you can do these practices and weave it in. Now this next one, we are going to pyramid pose. We're going to step that right foot back. If you want to use blocks, have them by your side of your foot. And we're just draping, again, that left hip back, right hip forward. What we're doing here in the big picture is opening to the flow of grace. I open to the flow of grace. So I bow to the wisdom of my heart. I open to the flow of grace as I bow to the wisdom of my heart. Cultivating patience and acceptance. Opening to those qualities of patience and acceptance. And we will be tested daily, many times a day. The trick is not to beat yourself up if you get, hooked, but you can unhook as we bend that left knee. Before we go to the other side, let's do a Uttanasana. Kind of shift the hips side to side. Shaking the head left and right. Softening the knees a bit. Letting go. Nothing on earth can hold me. I have tools eventually to let go of these difficult emotions that can seem persistent. But we can skillfully move through them. Bend the knees, step the left foot back. Now demo with the block on this side, the blocks. As we go into our pyramid pose. Bowing to the wisdom of the heart, into the flow of grace. Right hip back, left hip forward. You can't help it here and feel the breath here. Open to the flow of grace. Open to the wisdom and compassion, acceptance of my heart. Okay, when you feel complete, again, we bend that knee, we step the back foot forward, we come into let's walk our hands over to the little toe side of the right foot, bend the right knee, really open up that left side as you relax and cast aside any mental burdens that we're releasing right now. Am I okay? And then coming over to the other side, bending the left knee, stretching to that right side. Just releasing any unnecessary mental burdens. And the Serenity Prayer, so great for that. I accept things I cannot change. Help me to accept the things I cannot change. Have the courage to change the things I can. And of course, the wisdom to know the difference. All right, we come back up with that chair pose, bend the knees, arms reach back, arms sweep up. Let's see if there's anything left to, chop out. So just tune in. Yeah, of course I can't say that what that is for you, but just release it out twice now. Maybe it's the original. See if it's shifted. Frustration, impatience. And then you guys up, off of the heels. And feel the space all around. One index finger together, move down. One hand on the belly, the other hand on the heart. Back to the central channel, where we are free of duality strings. Now we're drawing the breath from the belly to the heart to the spiritual eye. Oh, there's light there. Vibrating through every cell of your body, every fiber of your being. We'll do our balance pose before we come to the ground. So let's do a classic of last week we worked on eagle. I'm going to invite you to tree. If there's other balance pose you'd like to work on, dance or, make it creative, expressive, whatever works for you. If you want to join me in tree, Vrikasana, I invite you to look at a tree if you can in front of you as we shift the weight onto that left foot. Okay. Now this is a great example if you're going through impatience and intolerance and frustration. it's hard to affirm I am calm, I am poised, right? So you do that express and release work, and then we water the plant and just see if the foot wants to be touching on the calf, on the thigh. It's fairly even. And hands to the heart perhaps. I am calm. I am poised. So I'm working on compassion and acceptance. Whatever it is, the quality that you're working on, I'm working toward compassion and acceptance. And feel the space all around you. I think it's fair to say all of us are works in progress on that one, right? As we swirl around. And some days, some moments, some hours are better than others. Sometimes it's so curious when, you have this reactive process. And it's like, wow, what's going on? Bring the right foot down. But again, moving, breathing, expressing and releasing. And then returning, okay? Nourishing, returning the higher truth. Here we are in tree. See where this side leads you, brings you. See what quality you'd like to invite. I'm calm, I am poised. I'm working toward greater compassion, resilience, and acceptance. I'm working toward greater compassion, resilience, and acceptance. And if you're complete, let the arms come out to the side. You're going to hear it in my voice, the softness more in the voice as we bring in those other qualities. Others like, because that's what it feels like. Okay, let's come down. The chair is a big one today. We're going to come down, down this way. If you can, like a squat, off the heels as we have the accessible. See what's going on there. And then the hands come down. Before we come all the way down, we haven't done this in a while. We're going to do Navasana, but with an extended leg variation. So what's going to happen is the left leg's going to reach out, the right knee's going to come in. You can use a strap here and see if you can extend that right leg. Okay, it might be here with the strap, no problem. Maybe this left hand comes toward the little toe side of the foot. We add a little twist here. So we're twisting with our scissor kick here. It's a Pilates move. Open to the heart. Open and strong in the core as you draw the navel to the spine. 3 to 4 breaths. And that it's opening the heart to whatever is appearing. And sometimes it's not pleasant and it's natural to contract and resist because it doesn't feel good. But then keep moving through, in and through. Inhale, lengthen up. Switching, left knee bends, right leg extends, move the cheek side to side. Use the strap. Reach around the ball of the foot. Spine elongates. Opposite hand. I don't know. Comes over. And it's that open heart as we take 3 deep belly breaths. Navel to the spine. At the end of the exhale. Body, mind, maybe working more at the same speed, perhaps. Again, they go up, but yoga is so great. We're having moments of bringing them and in the closer speed frequency. Coming back, bending the knee, lengthening up, And now we get to ripple down. Coming down. So shimmy, shake down, core strength, low back. And you just might have to block by your side and do the supportive bridge. Sweep the arms up. Feel the space all around. Take a moment and sweep the Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. You did this seated upright. Now we're doing it on the ground, hand on the belly, hand on the heart. Okay, any diaphragmatic breathing, you want that hand to be moving more than the hand on the heart. And exhale, maybe it can be through the nose. Maybe some of that hard stuff is dissipated, emotional gunk softened. Just so there, use the exhale through the mouth breathing that's more intense, more of a release. And just meditate on the sound of the breath. Shoulders away from the ears. As I breathe into my heart, I'm going to let go of layers of fear, or at least meeting that fear with strength and courage and patience. Whatever the resistance is, whatever the stuckness is, give it some space. Of course, we want to just get rid of it. And it's a process. So let's slowly do that inner thighs toward one another, that shaking, tension release, trauma release work. You'll find the spot where you'll get the point where the thighs start to shake. I think we've done this enough that we know that this is a really good thing. And we don't have to think about traumas, we just know that. Moving, breathing, shaking, all very helpful. The flow, get in the right flow, the right alignment, the spiritual alignment. But we're also very human in that process. Compassion for that, and compassion for others, right? That are going through their versions of stuff. And we're all going through some version of coming back out into the world again. And then planting their feet down. So we're going to do a few sweeping bridges, and then we're going to do a supported bridge at the end. So have your block by your side if you have it, or you can just hold the bridge for a while and then come down when you're ready to release. So large toes are turned in. Plug in so flatten the back. Inhale, as the arms come up, shoulders press into the earth, the hips come up. Feel the arms reaching up behind you. If you can, if that's too much, you bring the arms straight up, and maybe even your elbows can come down here if that's too much. Okay, the space above you. The first couple ones we're not holding long, and then we feel the space all around us as we melt the upper, mid, and lower back down. We do the sacrum into the earth, and then we flatten the back. Do that one more time. Inhale, bridge pose. Every thought, you can use that affirmation. I can use affirmation to plant that seed as you exhale down. Perhaps returning to strength and courage, or maybe more resilient than I think. Serenity prayer. And every thought could be a bridge back to your true self, your spiritual awareness. Something's not personal, but we're going to take our our block. And we're going to do supported bridge, inhale, if you have a block, or just classic bridge. You're doing, I'm going to do the low demo, the low block. You could bring it high. And either way, you're going to still press into your feet, lift the toes without the heels lifting off or the ball of the foot. And you're going to do that squeezing and soaking of the back bend, supported back bend here. Really opening all the chakras, inner thighs are magnetizing toward one another. And if you have the block, then you can release the hands, turn the left toes out to the side of the mat, and do just a couple bridge walking. So we bend that right knee, we extend the right leg, and we're releasing resistance and impatience. We fold that left knee, we extend, and remember we're kicking out. Maybe it's a softer kick now, it's not as harsh. Let the practice do that. Does that help to release some of the impatience and resistance as I cultivate acceptance and compassion, knowing that others are feeling these human qualities too. Like Tom Lin meditation, I'm not alone in this. Breathe in more toward acceptance in our cycles. As we lift the block and melt down slowly from the upper, mid, lower back, body. Thank you for what you can do. Appreciating that. Egg beater. So, sometimes when we get onto the mat, we feel, all the pain, if that's happening in your body, the resistance there, the stuckness there. And then hopefully by the time we get now closer to Shavasana, there could be more, again, compassion to ourselves and gratitude of what we can do. So we can hold both perhaps a grief and loss in one hand of what our body's not able to do, but then a gratitude in the other about what we can do. And that's just on the body level, right? So both of those. Happy baby. Reach rocking from one side to the other. Across the low back. Okay. And for those of you who have babies or young people in your life, that brings a lot of joy. Especially when you're not the main caregiver. Okay. All right. So when you're ready, let's end with the twist of your choice. I'm going to do the double wide leg. If you want to do one at a time, just again, make it work for you. So my feet are going wide on the mat, arms out in a T. I'm dropping the windshield wiper, this would be called. The knees over to the right and allowing that with the windshield wiper with the left arm up and above, divine light is within me and all around me. So it's the opposite arm, divine light is within me and all around me. Okay, resting in that as we engage the core, depending on what twist you're doing, plug in, shift the hips over to the other side, the knees drop over to the left, head to the right, And the opposite arm of the knee that is bent, if you feel to do this. And you could also, of course, make up your own affirmation, divine life is within me and all around me. Turning deep soul presence as you engage the core. See if there's one last pose, or do you want your feet up the wall for your shoulder stand, supported shoulder stand, whatever support you want for Shavasana. As we talked about last week, really important. Maybe to have that, even on a hot day, but perhaps a blanket or some kind of weight over you to just, that's very grounding, very grounding. If you want the bolster underneath your knees or your spine, you know how to do that. Get as comfortable as possible. So either with the bolster underneath the knees or the bolster along the central channel. If you want to have the legs extended, if there's no hip issues, sit supported, and you can transition at any time you like. All right. So I'll guide us through the restoration, okay? I mean, restoring our body and mind, and we're dying corpse pose to our ego self as much as we can. This is softening the ego is what's happening all along here. So, okay. All right. So as you're getting settled in, make any adjustments that make you feel more comfortable. And of course, returning to the breath. And remember your inner resource. It could be a place where you feel calm, a pet, something that brings your heart, a feeling of safety, security, love. As we scan through the body, we'll go through qualities as well. A sense of allowing the eyes to soften, allowing the jaw to relax. Allowing, nurturing, and compassion. This practice is very much about compassion and nurturing. And those are typically in the heart qualities, so breathing into your heart, the floor, the ceiling, the sidewalls of the chest. Softening the shoulders. Opening to that larger field of love and caring to ourselves, to others. And perhaps bringing in courageous presence into fear or anxiety or impatience. Feel your back body against the earth, getting more heavy. Supported. Breathing deep into the belly and the ribs. Rest and digest. Know that you are that wave held by the ocean. You can't be separate. And perhaps feeling in the right palm of the hand, sensation there, digits of the fingers, gratitude. Maybe fear or anxiety is trying to protect you in some way. And then the left hand, notice sensation there. Let whatever difficult emotion, perhaps it's grief and loss, be there. So we're stretching large enough to hold both. If you want to bring the one hand over the heart, the difficult qualities there, closest to the heart, but then cradled by the opposite hand of gratitude and strength and resilience, letting that get bigger. And just acknowledging both. And knowing that others are going through their versions of emotional process. Feeling the legs, the thighs, the knees, the calves, all the way through to the soles of the feet, digits of the toes. Space inside the body, connected to space all around you. Already home, already free, already aware. Just notice if this is a time that you'd like to return to movement or stay in relative stillness. You are returning to movement. Do it gradually, slowly, perhaps resting in the fetal pose if that speaks to you. Noticing before you sit up, if you are sitting up, the effect of expressing and release, being real with our emotions, identifying them, doing some vigorous movement, and then planting the seeds of affirmation and what's it teaching you. And some are much more complex than others, have layers to them. And either lying down or seated, we'll end with the 3-syllable Om sound, visualizing others, the planet itself, the situation of transitioning out into the world again, whatever it is you'd like to send healing energy to. Anyone you know who is in need of healing, visualize them at the spiritual eye. I'm going to rub my hands together. You do what feels right to you. And the sound, the ah is in the belly, the oh is in the heart, the is at the spiritual eye. It's vibrational sound, like we started with. Inhale. Ah. So inhale. One more time. And bringing the hands into Namaste, knowing that light of consciousness is within you, within everyone and everything. That's where we are one. Thank you all for being here today. I will be here for a few minutes to talk, check in at the end. So let me just let you know, next week I will not be here. My son's coming into town to visit my dad, so there's a whole thing around that, that his time. Anyway, let me just.
You have to smile when you say your son is coming.